What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of Movies, Music, Martial Arts. It's been a minute. I've been taking it slow this summer. It's just been crazy. The what's going on in the world. If it's not one thing, it's the other. It's a lot of things going on, but this channel is for entertainment purposes. I don't, dive into any political stuff, anything like that. You could catch it on other news outlets or whatever. This channel is for purely for entertainment, for fights. It's the name of the channel, Movies, Music, Martial Arts. So I like to keep it within that, but acknowledging what's going on in the world. But hopeful that things are gonna we're gonna come out of this better people, better society, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully we can learn a lot from this, from everything going on, from COVID to racial injustice, to the media, to natural disasters, all kinds of craziness going on right now. But anyway, so I hope this could be an escape for just for a few minutes, and we got to face the real world anyway, so might as well take a little escape every now and then. All right, guys, so without further ado, I would like to get into these movie battles that I just recently, within the past month, I did a poll on Instagram stories, and I got in a good amount of votes, from classic movies that I enjoyed in my younger years, and actually newer movies as well. Just it's not defined by genre or time, but just movies that we considered classic, that were popular, that part of pop culture, I guess. Or some of them aren't as popular, but still good movies with a cult following, I would say. So I did 8 rounds. So today I'm gonna go over rounds 1 through 4 of movie battles. We did 5 matches per each round. So I'm gonna go through the first set of movies that we voted on, and I'm just gonna give my opinions on it, and I'll put the graphic up so that everybody could see what the results were. So yeah, this was a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll be back soon in a few weeks with more rounds. But right now I finished it at round 8. There's so many more movies to match up. But yeah, this is what came to mind at the time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. All right, so let's see. So round 1, I had posted The Town versus Heat. The Town was a good movie with Ben Affleck. Is based out of Boston. I think he wrote and directed it. I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves as a director. He's a really good director. He's done a few other good movies, but The Town was based in. It's a heist movie based in Boston, and it's him and his crew. Jeremy Renner's in it. A couple of other guys. But so they're like, they're a crew. They go way back. They're boys, but they pull off these heists. They're very organized. They're a team of like four or 5 guys, and he's kind of like the mastermind. He's kind of like the leader of the pack, I would say, the guy that keeps them together and makes sure that they execute their plans. And so anyway, I'm not gonna do a review of the movie. I'm just giving you a little description of it. And then we got Heat. Heat is a classic. Al Pacino, De Niro, Val Kilmer. The reason I put these two together was because they're both heist movies. They're both very intense. They both have similar scenes. When the feds are gaining ground on one of the guys. They get one of the girls to like kind of give them up, but she doesn't. It has a lot of similarities, but they're very different movies, very different. Different settings, different time. Heat was based in the 90s. The Town is more of a up-to-date movie in the 2000s, but similar in the fact that they're both crews that pull off heists. So that's what made me put these two movies together. And So you'll see in the graphic, Heat won 69% and The Town 31%. My personal option, I'm gonna say it now. I think Heat is a classic. I love it. I need to see it again. I need to see it again. But I've seen The Town. I saw it like maybe 2 weeks ago again. I've seen it several times. I really enjoy it. I don't know. I guess I'm on the fence. Heat is such a classic, and the audacity for me to put a movie like The Town against such a classic movie. But The Town got some good amount of votes, but in the end, Heat took it. I don't know. I think I'm on the fence. I like them both equally. So that's just my vote. If I put me to vote it, I would have voted for The Town. That's just my opinion. Again, Heat is a classic. It kind of drags out a little bit some parts. Maybe if it was a little more compact, I would have went for Heat. But I love them both. But if you made me choose, I would vote for The Town, for the underdog. All right, so that was the first pick in round one. Then we move on to Then we move on to Gladiator versus Troy. So Gladiator, classic movie. Excuse me, gotta go back here. Gladiator, classic movie starring Russell Crowe. It was based in the Roman era. He was like this general for their army, and his story, it's a great story. I love Gladiator. It's a classic. But then we put it up against Troy because it's similar. It's in those ancient times, gladiators with the fucking armors and the helmets and all that shit. And I put it up against Troy with Brad Pitt, Eric Bana. They're not too similar, but they're similar in the sense that they're set in those ancient times. But Gladiator won 77-23. And I actually would vote for Gladiator. I do think it's a better movie. Troy was really good, don't get me wrong. What's his name? Achilles. Brad Pitt played Achilles. He was like invincible. He was just fucking everybody up. He killed, what's his name? Eric Bana, who played Hector. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed both of them, but I would give the edge to Gladiator. So Gladiator won 77-23%. And again, I averaged about 45 to 50 votes, more or less. It's not a tremendous amount, but still people, took the time to vote on the poll. So that's why these results are based on some decent amount of votes. All right, so the next movie we got here is one of my all-time favorites. Maybe, and I've said in the past, this is my favorite movie of all time. Just personal preference. It's not the best movie ever. And I actually, we just saw the trilogy recently, about a month or so ago, Die Hard with Bruce Willis. And I put it up against Speed. So Speed, came out in the 90s with Keanu Reeves. And, they're more or less similar. Speed was very popular, but I don't know. Like I vote for Die Hard personally, one of my favorites, if not the favorite. But I put it up against Speed because it's that one cop against up against this master. Well, actually, Die Hard was up against Hans Gruber and his crew. So yeah, it's not really similar, but both action movies. One lone cop, up against the odds. In Speed, he's got to rescue all those people on that bus, and they're both very intense movies. Like if that bus goes under, like I forgot what it is, certain amount of I don't know, 80 miles an hour or some shit, it explodes. But Speed was really good. But I got to give it to my all-time favorite, Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. So Die Hard won the vote 69% to 31%. So there's your result for that couple of movies. All right, so the next round, not the next round, we're still in round one. The next movie in this round, I put Saving Private Ryan. up against Full Metal Jacket. These are two of my all-time favorite war movies. There's a few other war movies that are good, like Thin Red Line. There's the one with Mel Gibson. What's it called? When We Were Soldiers. That's based in Vietnam. There's a couple of other good World War II movies, but I think that the all-time best for World War II is Saving Private Ryan. Steven Spielberg really captured that. I mean, I don't know. It just looked so realistic. When I first saw that movie, I was just like taken back, like how realistic it looked, like what those soldiers were going through when they invaded Normandy, Omaha Beach, the D-Day invasion. And it was crazy. It was so realistic seeing all those soldiers get bodied and fucking body parts everywhere. So it's something like that movie really sticks with you, it resonates. So Saving Private Ryan, classic. And I put it up against Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket, Stanley Kubrick, classic. It's based in the Vietnam era, so two different wars. But it's a popular war movie. It's got a good storyline. I haven't seen it recently, so but yeah. So anyway, Saving Private Ryan wins 58% to 42%. So it's kind of close. A lot of people were picking Full Metal Jacket, but yeah, Saving Private Ryan took that one. So let's see the next couple of movies. Was that it? All right, so I got Town and Heat, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, all right. So this is the last pick on round 1. I put these two movies, which I really love, both of them. I put The Dark Knight, the second Christopher Nolan Batman movie. I put The Dark Knight against Captain America Winter Soldier. The reason I did this is because they're both sequels within their trilogies. The Dark Knight is a classic. It's about Batman. Christopher Nolan is hailed as maybe one of the best superhero trilogies ever because of this movie, because of The Dark Knight. A lot of people didn't really like the Dark Knight Rises, the one with Bane. I liked it. But yeah, so when you talk about superhero movies, The Dark Knight really stands out. And not just superhero movies, like any genre of movie. It's a very well written and directed and acted film. It's almost perfect. But I put it up against Captain America Winter Soldier because that's one of the best Marvel movies. That if you look at ratings for like people's favorite Marvel movies, it's the second Captain America movie directed by the Russos. It's more of an espionage, not he's a superhero, but it's espionage. He's taking on Hydra. So yeah, that's why I pinned those together. I thought that Captain America Winter Soldier would do a little better, but it kind of got rocked by The Dark Knight. I had a feeling Dark Knight was going to win, but not by that much. So The Dark Knight took it 73% to 27%. I love these movies. I put them like this. But me, I'm Marvel biased. So I would definitely pick The Winter Soldier. I know The Dark Knight, classic. But my personal preference would be The Winter Soldier. They're both so exciting. You could watch those movies from beginning to end and not get bored. So much going on, but it's not too convoluted. So I really like both those movies. So anyway, The Dark Knight won. So that wraps it up for round 1 of movie battles. Okay, so I'm gonna get into round 2. Hang on one second. All right. So round 2, we got the first couple of movies that I put up was in the mobster genre, which I put The Godfather versus Scarface. So The Godfather, all-time classic, right? Sorry, this thing keeps moving on me. Marlon Brando, what can you say? It's The Godfather. But I put it up against Pacino Scarface. You know, a lot of people aren't aware that there's an original Scarface and a black and white. This is actually the Pacino Scarface is a remake. You know, based in Miami in the 80s. He became a cocaine kingpin. Everybody knows the story. But anyway, I put these up together and Scarface won 67%, 33%. It beat the Godfather. So there you go. You know, surprisingly enough. But yeah, I like I like Scarface a little better anyway than the Godfather. So if you ask me. All right. So the next, this one was a little lopsided, and you know, I don't know. Maybe on second thought, I could have put it up against another movie. Hang on a second. I did Independence Day, the original one with Will Smith. I put it up against Starship Troopers. And the reason I put these up, you know, obviously alien invasion, you know, battle against the aliens or whatever. And Starship Troopers, I think it's from the director that did RoboCop. So it's R-rated, it's very bloody, it's violent. But, you know, it's about these space cadets going up against these space bugs. But they're both, you know, outer space, alien, sci-fi genre. So that's why I put these two together. But in retrospect, maybe I could have put Independence Day against another movie. Independence Day destroyed it 91% to 9. I think Starship Troopers is more of a cult following. It's not as popular, but a lot of people know Starship Troopers. Anyway, Independence Day took it. I think what I might do later on is do like champions, like winners of certain rounds, specific movies. Maybe I could put Independence Day up against another reputable movie that could give it a more of a challenge. So Independence Day, 91%. All right, next we got Point Break, the original one with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. This is a classic. You know, he's infiltrating that crew of bank robbers, and Gary Busey's in it. Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves. You know, the reason why I put this up against The Departed, and the reason I did, again, this is a lopsided as well, but Point Break is a great movie. You know, it's got a great following. But the reason I put these together is with The Departed, is because, again, it's about an agent going in to infiltrate a crew of thieves and criminals or whatever. In The Departed, it was Leonardo DiCaprio's character infiltrating Jack Nicholson's crew of guys, and also, what's his name? His name's right there. Matt Damon. He's also playing like a infiltrator role as well. So that's why I put those two together. Maybe I could have picked a better thing, because The Departed is it's a Scorsese movie. Maybe I could have found a better challenge for it. Excuse me. So The Departed won 78%, 22%. All right. So there you go. I love The Departed. One of my all-time favorites, man. It's a great movie. The score, the way it was directed, the acting. DiCaprio, him and Scorsese, they're just him. DiCaprio works on a lot of projects with Scorsese and Christopher Nolan as well, I think. But so that's that. And then we got, okay. This is a comedy. I put up the 40-Year-Old Virgin against The Hangover. Both classic comedies. 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell. It's such a funny fucking movie. You know, it's got so many sound bites that people use to this day. You know, you have to see it. If you haven't seen 40-Year-Old Virgin, I recommend it. It's a brilliant comedy. It's really funny. But The Hangover, again, The Hangover is the first Hangover, because the sequels kind of got a little, you know, I don't know, diluted. They weren't as funny as the original, because they kind of like copy and pasted the plots to the original, so the sequels weren't that good. But the original Hangover was fucking bananas. You know, with I could barely read the names of the actors and this shit, but anyway, I can't think off the top of my head, but The Hangover is a classic, 40 virgin, and The Hangover won 67% to 33%. I don't know. There's another one. I'm kind of on the fence on this one too, because I really, they made me laugh a lot. You know when a movie's good when it makes, it makes your stomach hurt from laughing so much. But yeah, The Hangover was good, man. I don't know what I would pick. Maybe I would lean towards The Hangover, but 40 Virgin is fucking funny as fuck, man. It has so many funny sound bites. All right, so one more for round 2. We got, a lot of people were pissed at me for this because they were like, how dare you? How fucking dare you put these 2 movies together? So hold on a second. It's Return of the Jedi, Star Wars, Star Wars Return of the Jedi versus Lord of the Rings Return of the King. So they're both, they're both the ending of 2 trilogies, right? Return of the Jedi being the first original Star Wars movies that came out, was that last one, and then Lord of the Rings Return of the King being the conclusion of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And both classics. Obviously there's a sense of nostalgia with the Star Wars films that have like a timeless thing about them. Lord of the Rings was, Lord of the Rings. So I'm sorry, Return of the Jedi came out early 80s. So the effects weren't that crazy compared to Lord of the Rings Return of the King that came out in the early 2000s. So almost 20 years apart. So the effects of Lord of the Rings is way better, but still, the timeless, legendary status of the Star Wars saga is what, gave it an edge here. So Return of the Jedi wins 55% to Return of the King 45%. So it was a tight race, but Return of the Jedi pulled it off. A lot of people would say that Empire Strikes Back is the best of all the Star Wars movies. I would tend to agree. Just to go off on a little side note, I've been catching up. Well, I actually finished the Clone Wars series, the animated series, Clone Wars and Rebels, and those are just as good, if not better. I would say better than actual movies, like the last 3 that came out, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and what's that last one that came out? I don't even fucking remember. What's the name of it? The Return of Skywalker or some shit. People were mad at that. They're not too, I really like The Force Awakens. It was promising, but I don't know what happened with the writing, if it was rushed, but I like it. I don't think it's terrible, but a lot of people would say that the original trilogy is the best. The prequels have somewhat of a weird cult following, but the prequels were kind of bashed too. But if you watch the Clone Wars, it kind of makes the prequels like good. It's crazy. You have to see it. You have to see the Clone Wars series, especially that season 7. Woo! I'm gonna do a whole separate video about that. That Clone Wars season 7 was bananas. I need to get into a lot of details about that. But anyway, side note, Return of the Jedi beats Return of the King 55 to 45. So there you go. That concludes rounds 1 and 2 of movie battles. I'll be back for rounds 4 and 5 on the next episode. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick little recap of that. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody that voted. And yeah, man, we're going to keep it going. I'm going to come back, do more episodes. I'm going to come back and do some reviews. We just recently saw the Back to the Future trilogy again, so I want to talk about that. Maybe I'll get my girl on the show to talk about it a little bit. That's a classic, Back to the Future. And yeah, so I'll be back with more of these movie battles. Next episode I'll talk about rounds 3 and 4. and so on and so on. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And yeah, we're just gonna keep it going, guys. All right. Thank you everybody that voted. Thank you for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Show some YouTube love. And see you guys on the next one. All right. Peace.